Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at the pretty village of Whitchurch Canonicorum in Dorset. It's located about 5 miles west of Bridport and is the largest village in the Marshwood Vale. And we're going to be walking a roughly 4.5 mile circular-ish route. We'll have a look at a few things in the village before heading north to Manderville Stoke Farm. We'll then head eastwards to a place called Cutty Stubbs, then south alongside Ryall Bottom, and then southwest to the outskirts of the village of Ryall before heading back to Whitchurch Canonicorum. Now I'm filming at the end of March. It is a beautiful spring day. The sun is out, there's plenty of blue sky, should be perfect conditions for walking. Although my companion is already having a snooze by the looks of things. Do come along with us. Well, we'll start off with a wander through the village at the western end, a place called Whitchurch Cross. Now, somewhere around here, I believe there used to be a pub. Now, a 1888 map possibly shows a pub called the New Inn on the western edge of the cross. And I think that's where this pink building was, but I'm not sure. However, a 1903 map actually shows the pub on the eastern side of the cross. Now I think there was an old New Inn that closed in 1927 and a new pub built, also called the New Inn, but it closed in around about 1974. I think that was the one on the eastern side of the cross, but I'm not 100% sure. And this is the village hall. It was originally a school and it dates to 1840. I think it's now the village hall preschool. Now, as far as the history of the village is concerned, in around about AD 899, the village was given by King Alfred to his son Ethelwerd, and it's recorded in the Domesday Book as WITE'S. Of course, it's Whitchurch today. Well, towards the sort of eastern end of the village is the Five Bells Inn, named after the original 5 bells at the church, which I think's now got 8 bells. And I was reading that it's haunted by pilgrim souls that sought healing from the shrine in the church. It's mainly open in the evenings. I think it's just Sundays that it's open during the day, but seeing today is a Sunday, I expect it'll be our final destination. Well, folks, how about this for a village church? The Church of St Candida and Holy Cross. And it's got an amazing history. There was a Saxon church on the site, but there's nothing left of that today. It was called Whitte's Syrian or White Church, and possibly because it was made using light-coloured stone, I don't know. But the earliest part of the building here today dates to the 12th century when the old church was rebuilt by Benedictine monks from Normandy. They'd basically been given the church by William the Conqueror. And in 1190, the monks sold it to the Bishop of Salisbury, and in the early 13th century it was given to a chap called Robert de Manderville, who was Lord of Marshwood Vale, for an annual fee. Now the nave, north and south transepts, north and south aisles and the south wall of the chancel all date to the 13th century, and at that time a shrine containing the remains of St Wite was erected. We'll see that later on. But in the mid-13th century, I think around 1240, Robert passed the church on to the Bishop of Bath and Wells, but the Bishop of Salisbury still wanted his annual fee, so as a compromise the parish tithes were divided between the two canons at that time, and the word Canonicorum, basically meaning of the canons, was added to the village name. And in the 15th century, the tower, which is 75 foot tall, and the south porch was added. The south vestry was added in 1822, and there was a big restoration between 1847 and 1848. and I think it's got 8 bells. Now, its nickname is the Cathedral of the Vale. Of course, you can see why, being right at the bottom of Marshwood Vale. Shall we have a quick see what our friend Sir Frederick Treves had to say about the village in his 1906 book, Highways and Byways in Dorset. The capital of the Vale of Marshwood is Whitchurch Canonicorum, or Canons Whitchurch, so named because the great tithes were divided between the canons of Salisbury and Wells. The village consists of a few scattered thatched houses. The church, however, is magnificent. A cruciform building of singular beauty and of exceptional interest. It is dedicated to St Candida, or St Wite as her name was in Saxon. Her shrine stands in the north transept, and there is little doubt that the church was originally called St Wite's Church. The 15th century tower is a landmark for many miles around. High up on its walls is carved on stone an archaic ship and an axe, which inscription has led to the belief that some merchant whose waves were upon the sea built the great tower. Well, what a fascinating church. Forgive me if I tell you a little bit more about the history of the shrine. I'm going to have to read my notes for this. It was created in the 13th century, and over the years, White has long been thought of being the same as white, but in fact, White is an Old English word that had many meanings in Saxon times, including to guard and to keep lookout. So who was St Wite? Well, nobody really actually knows. There are all sorts of different theories as to which saint it was. Local tradition suggests that it was an Anglo-Saxon holy woman or hermit that lived on a cliff to the south, and she would often provide light as a navigational aid to ships at sea, but she was killed defending local people by marauding Vikings in the 9th century. And I think King Alfred then built the church to house her remains 50 years after her death. Now, there is a well called St Wite's Well, which Logan and I visited on a previous walk. It's located to the south of here, first mentioned in 1603 when it was claimed that the saint lived and prayed nearby, and the water is famous for healing eye diseases and other complaints. Anyway, as far as the shrine here is concerned, say in 1900 the tomb was opened and the bones of the body of a small middle-aged woman were found. And the inscription on the tomb actually says, "Here lies the remains of St Wite." Well, we'll have a little peep inside, and there's the font just inside the door, and that's just looking up to the tower. There's the organ on the right hand side of the nave, and there's a rather magnificent pulpit on the left hand side of the nave, and then just going through into the chancel, splendid stained glass window above the altar there, looking quite stunning in the morning sunshine. Well, here is the shrine itself. It's a sort of rectangular coffin that has a case with the bones inside, with a Purbeck marble lid supported by a base with, as you can see, 3 openings. And pilgrims believe that the relics actually had healing powers, and folk put personal belongings or diseased body parts in the openings in the hope of a cure. Now, there are a few people of note that are buried here. Georgy Markov, the Bulgarian dissident who was assassinated on Waterloo Bridge in London in 1978. He's interred in the churchyard here. And also the ashes of television presenter Robin Day. And Sir George Somers, who died in 1610, he was the founder of the colony of Bermuda. I think he was also mayor of Lyme Regis. Well, his body is buried here, I think underneath the vestry, although his heart was buried in Bermuda. Well, what a pretty village and an amazing church. Okay, we're now going to head off into the countryside following a footpath or bridleway that takes us northwards. Well, I tell you, it is quite glorious now. Beautiful spring day. And it's great that Logan can actually start a walk without having to wear a coat. Well, I'm certainly going to get some cracking views today. So just looking to the north, just on the left hand side in the distance, I think that's Pilston Pen with an Iron Age hill fort at the top where Logan and I have been before, and then over to the right that must be Lewiston Hill where again there's an Iron Age hill fort, and again we've done a walk there as well. Well, certainly some terrific views around here. Time for me hover air, I think. Well, a little update on the route. We're crossing some fields and heading for some woods, looking for a footpath that goes through, well, lower Coppice on the left and higher Coppice on the right. Well, this is a lovely, peaceful section of the walk, going through this woodland in between a couple of coppices. All I can hear are birds twittering away. Logan's on squirrel alert. I don't think there's going to be many in this wood though, fella. Oh, lovely to see the wild flowers on the bank there. A few primroses looking quite jolly in the spring sunshine. We're just about to make our way over this little footbridge over a stream. I think it's either the River Char or one of the tributaries of the River Char. And the Char itself is something like 10 miles long. It's got a number of sources, but the furthest north, I think, is at Bettiscombe, but there are also streams from, well, the foot of both Pilston Pen and Lewiston Hill. I think it's a bit too steep to get down there for a dog-det fella. There might be some opportunities later on in the walk, though. You sure, Dad? I think that's the main part of the River Char down there. Looks a bit more substantial, doesn't it? The water's quite clear, although it's got quite a a muddy bottom to it. Well, a little bit of a problem. We were just coming up to a place called Manderville Stoke Farm, and our path was going to take us over this bridge, but it looks a little bit too dangerous. In fact, there's a sign up been put up by the council that suggests there's no bridge access, so we're going to have to do a little detour, I think, over to the right. Okay, well, I don't think it's going to be a problem because looking at the map, there is a little footpath that goes over to the east, and I think we can join up with our original route. Fingers crossed. Well, we didn't get lost, but we've made an interesting journey to Cutty Stubbs farm. Had to go over a few electric fences, but there we go. So we're going to continue heading eastwards. So this little section here, a little bit of road work, but looks like it's a very quiet road. We haven't come across any traffic so far. And we're looking for a place called, well, heading towards Purcombe Farm, but I don't think we get as far as that. There's the footpath sign I was looking for. So we carry along here to Purcombe Farm and farmhouse. Well, folks, how about this for a view looking to the north? The Marshwood Vale ahead, surrounded by hills. So Lewiston Hill straight ahead, and Pilston Pen over to the left, and then further round to the west there's Lambert's Castle Hill and Coney's Castle. Of course, all four have hill forts. Amazing to think there have been farms in this valley since the Iron Age. Okay, well, I've reached a place called Little Coppet, and this is as far east as we're going on the route. Now we head south towards the little village of Ryall. Well, folks, this is going to be one of those walks where we're going roughly in the right direction, but not quite the direction that we originally planned. We sort of got lost. We'll put it this way, the way markers started to run out. Anyway, we came across this house. This lovely gentleman has pointed me in the right direction and showed me a shortcut to get to Ryall. So we'll see how we get on. Whew, we've made it to Ryall. It's so frustrating. I know exactly where I went wrong on the route, which is a bit embarrassing, but there we go. So we've come to Ryall through Beerland Farm. Not much to see. It's quite a small settlement, but a couple of things to have a look at. We're just passing by this beautiful garden. There's some giraffes through there by that tree. I think there are, you know. Now, Ryall might not be very big, but it once had a pub. If you look on a 1903 map, there was a pub called the Mason's Arms here, but it closed in 1905 following a fire. It's now a private house called Ryall House with some quite stunning views across the valley, I suspect. Lower Lane, that's the track that we originally were going to come up to join Ryall. What a beautiful cottage on the left there, Hope Cottage. Again, some beautiful views they have to the north. We're just about to start our final leg to go from Ryall back to Whitchurch Canonicorum. Now, I could take our original route, which would have been through the countryside, up and down Dale, or I can take the direct route along the road. Both go to the same destination, the Five Bells. I think I know which one I'm going to take. Here we are, folks, our final destination, the Five Bells, which of course we will now visit purely for research purposes for the video. Well, folks, here we are in the beer garden of the Five Bells in this quite outstanding sunshine. Just quality testing their copper. Oh, just what the doctor ordered. Now, they don't have your favourite pipers, but they've got Burt's. Was that going to do for you? Yep. We hope you enjoyed our walk today. It was slightly off route, but we got there in the end. And the weather today has been, well, couldn't have asked for better. If you did like the walk, please give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment, and do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. So until we meet again, thanks for watching and cheerio. Good boy. Yeah.